We're gonna go through this double bed here, and we're gonna harvest all the ripe strawberries. There's lots of them hidden down. I already did a couple days ago 2-cup harvest. So we'll see how much I get today. I have this bed, and then I have a couple beds on the other side that we'll work our way over to. But we'll start here because I want to get this bed cleaned up. I'm going to go ahead and get out some more of the mustard greens. More started to go to seed, and I don't want to leave too many of them. I'll probably leave just one of the red mustard, one of the green wave. The rest I'll get out because I got to get this prepped because I have a lot. I have 40 tomato plants, I think, go in this area. I pack my tomatoes in pretty tight. And then I'll transplant in some of the flowers that I started in the greenhouse, some of the marigolds and stuff like that. But I'm gonna get this bed set now. Okay, so here's what I got. That's a nice, good sized bowl. And like I said, I'm gonna go through, gonna harvest. Like I said, I'm gonna harvest and just pull out a lot of these mustard greens. Ooh, look at this beauty that just flew in. There's my mosquito control dragonflies. So lovely. But anyway, as I was saying, I'm going to go through, get out, the mustard greens that I don't want to keep. Any that's edible, obviously, will be taken in as a part of this harvest. And then the rest will just be composted. Then I'm going to get these beds set, and I'll show you at the end. We'll do like a quick scan once I go in and plant the tomatoes. But you can see there's still a lot of berries. So probably in another day or two, I'll have lots more to harvest. They're still all over. And I'm pretty sure, I have to look back at my video when I planted these 3 years ago. I'm pretty sure this is an ever-bearing variety. So theoretically, I should continue to get strawberries throughout the summer from a lot of these. I only planted a couple plants 3 years ago, and then they just spread and multiplied. And finally this year, I feel like, I can get what I would call a harvest and not just like little snacks. So, but you can see they're all still a lot of strawberries already formed and forming. So it'll be in the next harvest video. So for real today, I'm gonna finally get these beds cleared. We had some rain come in, so I focused on areas, planting in areas that I had already cleaned up. But now I have got to get this side done because I have still a lot of tomatoes that need to go into the ground so they can get their grow on. But you can see after that first harvest a couple days ago, many more have ripened up. So we're gonna have to get another bowl, and I'm gonna get everything that's on this side of the garden. And then that was the other reason too. I decided to go ahead and let the chocolate mint grow so I can do my first big harvest of that and freeze dry that. And then that'll clear the ground for me to plant the tomato transplants that I grew from seed as well. So that's what we're gonna work on next. Okay, so here is the strawberry harvest for today. And I'm gonna get to work and get these beds cleaned out, prepped, and get my tomatoes transplanted. Okay, so here's what I brought in so far. I have the 2 containers of strawberries, and I'm gonna get all this weighed later. A little bit of cherries, and then I pulled, as I was cleaning the beds, some dandelion root along with the greens. And so yeah, I'm gonna, I think I know what I'm gonna do with these, but we'll do it. Right now I just have them rinsed off. I'll store them in the fridge until I'm ready to deal with them. So these are all the strawberries all together, and it's coming in at just over a pound. Okay, so I got some areas inside the fencing cleared. Got some more tomatoes planted. But now what I'm gonna do real quick is come work on this area. I have to do a little bit of weeding here, but more importantly, I'm gonna cut back the mint again here. This will be the second harvest of the mint from this outer border, because I want to go ahead and start the freeze dryer, because I'm probably going to have to do 2 runs of that today. So I'm going to do this first batch so that can get going, and then I'll continue working, and then hopefully tonight I can run the second batch. So I'll just do a quick scan to show you the area that I'm gonna pull mint from. I have 3 varieties of mint because the main reason why I'm doing this is because I have some things that I need to transplant, and I don't want the mint, so tall again. It'll smother those things out. And so, yeah, I need to get that going. So I'm gonna work on this side, and then I'll work on the other side, because I still, I got the onions in some areas, but I need to cut back to finish getting these last bits of onions into the ground. And again, some of my squash and cucumbers are gonna go out here. So yeah, I'm just gonna get to work, and I'll show you all that I harvest. I'll link to the video, but I've already harvested from this space. This is the again, the plants are just getting more and more established. So this is like year 3 or 4 for this mint. Well, I put these beds out 3 years ago, I think. And so, yeah, they're just more and more established. This is the most that they've grown back so early in the season. I can't even believe how much mint I've already harvested in the first week of June. By the first week of June, it's crazy, but I am not mad about it. All right, let me get to work. All right, friends, so I filled this huge basket with mint from this one side. I kind of stopped here. I went into this area a little bit, but I'll have to come back. This starts to transition into ginger mint, and I'm gonna do that separately. So what I've done so far is all peppermint, and I just kind of, went down the side. You can see I just cut it back real low, and then when I come in here to plant, I'll go ahead and pull up those root areas and put them in soil to propagate new plants, because I don't want it there. And yeah, just kind of went down this area. You can see the biggest difference here. Remember, I've already harvested from this area and shared that in the video. So it grew back, again, before I could get my June planting done. So I got the onions in, shared that in a video. Then the mint started to grow back, harvested that back, but you can see the onions are growing nicely. They got started before the mint could grow so they don't get smothered. And then same thing in here, like I still have this grapevine to plant. Then I have some other things that I'll be putting in here. So I'll come into these areas. Like here, I was waiting to see if more of my echinacea would come back, but just this one came back. This looks like the beginning of a new plant. So I'm gonna leave that area alone, but I'll kind of plant around it. And again, I'll come in, like, there's always a few weeds, but that's the beauty of the mint, is basically like a ground cover, so this doesn't end up getting a lot of weeds. I do that on purpose with my garden. That's why I plant so densely, because the last thing I want to do is be spending a ton of time weeding during my short grow season. And so yeah, so the next time I'm not going to bother showing the plantings. Next time you see this area, it'll be in a garden tour probably. All right, so let me get this mint inside. I'm going to I always do a first cleanse outside, then I'm going to get inside, get them washed and dried onto the freeze dryer. And again, I've shared this a couple times in videos. I'll link to it if you haven't seen it, and then we will share at the end what that all looks like. So again, this is round 1 of the mint harvest for today. And once this is going in the freeze dryer, I'll see if I already have enough for a second batch. But either way, I'm gonna go ahead and harvest the chocolate mint, more ginger mint, a little bit of the apple mint, and have that at least washed and dried and just in the fridge waiting so I can keep that going. The main thing is I need to clear the area so I can get the rest of my tomatoes in the ground. All right, so the 4 trays are filled and I have probably enough in that basket to do definitely 1 more, but probably like 1.5 to 2 more freeze dry rounds. And so I'm gonna go ahead and proceed to other parts of the garden, get things planted, because I do like to kind of harvest and then freeze dry right away so that I'm not, the leaves aren't wilting, I'm not losing, any of the nutrition, etc. So I like to harvest fresh, clean, and then freeze dry. So let me get this in. And what I might do, if I work fast enough today and I do get to those other areas and I just need to clear them, I can always clean it, dry it real good, pop it in the freezer and have them already frozen and ready to go to the freeze dry. So we'll see. All right, but let me get these in, and then at the end of the video, I'll show you the total amount of mint varieties that I harvested and preserved. While I'm cleaning out the garden, remember, I have not planted the garden yet. This is all perennial food that has grown back, and I'm harvesting before planting my garden. So exciting. All right, friends, so here is the second round, and honestly, I think I have 2 more rounds worth. That mint was packed in that basket, and so I'm gonna actually go ahead. It's the next day, so I'm gonna grab that chocolate mint because I think those tomatoes that we saw have already ripened. I want to get those out. I need to get that chocolate mint out because I have another 20 tomato plants that need to go into those beds ASAP. So yeah, I'm gonna move on to the chocolate mint, and we'll come back to finishing up the peppermint later. Okay, so I got the peppermint 2 batches done. So now I'm gonna come out here. I'm gonna do the chocolate mint real quick because I need to, this is a prime tomato bed and I need to get these seedlings transplanted. And a lot of the strawberries that remained have ripened overnight also, like through the day. So I'm gonna grab more strawberries. I'm gonna cut down almost all this mint to the ground so I can get my seedlings in, and then this mint is just gonna grow back up and I'll just keep harvesting throughout the season. And so yeah, I'm gonna get the chocolate mint, and I might go ahead and get that apple mint back there also, because yeah, I need to get this whole side of the garden planted with tomatoes. I have 60 tomato plants that need to go over on this side of the garden. Well, in these beds, and then I have to do the grow bags. So let me get to work. I'm gonna show you inside the mint, the rest of the strawberries, and then I have 2 more things that I'm gonna harvest on the way in the house, and then we will wrap this video up. Okay, let's get some strawberries. All right, here's what I got from the one side, and then I have a bunch over here that have ripened as well. I really need to get my tomatoes in the ground today, so let's get these out and get them inside so I can get my rest of my tomatoes planted in this space. Okay, so here's what I got today, and on the other side, there may be a dozen, but over here there's still a lot of strawberries that are on the verge of ripening, and I'm gonna leave them. I'm just gonna have to work very carefully as I go in and transplant the tomatoes. The tomatoes are big enough that they will not get smothered, and if I think they will be, I might have to redirect some of these strawberries because I don't want them smothering out my seedlings. So the next time I share this bed, it should be planted with tomatoes, y'all. All right, let me get the strawberries inside, and then like I said, I'm gonna get the chocolate mint. I need to get the rhubarb. I need to get some mulberries, and then I'm gonna show you those things inside as well. All right, so I cleared out all that I want to clear from here. And again, I just cut it down low to the ground so it will grow back, but I don't want it blocking my tomatoes, as I said. And I have other things that I'm gonna put in here as well. So here's what I have of the chocolate mint so far. There's gonna be more because I still have to do this area. And then what I'm gonna do with some of the taller ones that I left, after I get my bamboo stakes in place for the tomatoes, I will see if they're gonna interfere with them. I'm probably gonna pull them and propagate them like I did with some of the other mint, because this is the only area in the garden that I have chocolate mint growing. And so now that I've filled up my hillside garden, I might generate some new plants. I mean, I could directly transplant it too, but I don't want to go up into that garden and get distracted up there. So I'll probably put it just in some pots down here. And then when it's time tomorrow to work up there, I can transplant it. But now what I'm going to do is go over and get some apple mint. And then I'll come back when it's time. And then I'll come back after I get this first round of the freeze dryer going to clear out the rest of this bed, get that washed and store them in the fridge. So I can run another cycle tonight, and then I can finally get the tomatoes into the ground here. Okay, so here's the apple mint area that I'm going to harvest again, because tomatoes need to go here as well. And I have apple mint in one other bed in the garden, and this is the bed that it seems to be growing back the best in. This definitely does not, well, I put this here a year, maybe two after the chocolate mint. So I don't know if it just takes more time to establish itself, or maybe it just doesn't, it's just not gonna be, as hardy as far as spreading as the chocolate mint is. This stays pretty contained, but I'm gonna go ahead and harvest some. I don't wanna cut, again, it all back because I do want it to continue to grow so I can harvest more. This is definitely one of the mints that I've preserved the least of. And so I wanna try and get as much as I can this year. And so, yeah, you can see here, I mean, this is the original plant, and these just kind of grow tall. They don't spread. It doesn't seem like they spread underground and take over as much as the chocolate mint does. This apple mint is also a variety that you can grow from seed, which I do have seeds for. I can't remember if this was a purchase plant or a seed grown plant. Some of them are definitely ones, like the ones in the front border. Those I definitely grew from seed. These I have to look at the tag. These may have been some of the original purchase plants. Yeah, but either way, it's an amazing mint. I cut that back quite a bit, and this will have plenty of time to grow. I transplanted 2 clumps of it to another bed, and then this ended up being way more apple mint than I thought. When the plants kind of lay down, they look all short. But yeah, I'm gonna get this inside. All right, y'all, so here is all the mint. Big old basket, way more than I thought of the apple mint, so I'm thrilled about that. Okay, so I have 2 rhubarb plants that I'm gonna harvest from. Then eventually I gotta come in here. The raspberries are spreading into this area, so I'm gonna have to pull those out and transplant them somewhere else, and I'm not mad about that, having more raspberry plants. Again, here's the rhubarb. And if I need more for my recipe, once I get this cleaned and chopped, I can come back out. I didn't even touch I only got this from one plant, so there's plenty there. All right, I'm gonna get the mulberries. I'm gonna wrap this up. Okay, so the rhubarb is weighing in at 1 pound, 2.4 ounces. I weighed the strawberries, that was 8.9 ounces. So these are washed. They're going to get wrapped in a kitchen towel. I'm just going to store them in the fridge until I make it out to get the strawberries. And I might need to harvest more. I have to see, I have to check my recipe and see how many batches I want to make today. And it's going to be based on how good the strawberries look. If the strawberries look fantastic and they're a great price, then I'll probably double my batch. And then these are just going to get washed off, and I'll be letting my husband and son know that there are some fresh strawberries ready to be consumed. Okay, and so here is what I've prepared so far. I have 1 tray of the apple mint, and then I did 3 trays of the chocolate mint, and I have more of each. So I'm going to start this running, assuming it's going to take about 7 hours again, and I'll have the rest washed and dried. I'll probably get some more of the chocolate mint from the garden so that I can run this overnight as well. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to harvest are mulberries from this one tree in my backyard that is loaded with ripe berries. Fortunately, a lot of them are up way too high. I leave those for the birds, but I'm going to go around and get all the ripened berries that are within my reach. All right, y'all, so here are the mulberries that I harvested. I'm going to go ahead and get a quick weight on those from my garden journal. I'm weighing most things. I forget sometimes, but I won't be always putting it in the video. It's more just for me to, you know, I like the numbers. I like to know. But let's get this poured in here without crushing them and spilling too many. Let's see. So this is a little over a pound, 1 pound, 3.4 ounces. And you cannot, at least in my grocery store, you cannot get fresh mulberries. So this is a real treat. All right, so the apple mint, and then 3 trays of chocolate mint are out of the freeze dryer. My peppermint container from the May harvest is full. So I'm going to get out the Mylar bags and the vacuum sealer and get those. I'm going to get them portioned out and weighed and put into some little bags that I can share with other people. And then, yeah, I have another jar for the chocolate mint, and I'm going to just start a smaller jar for the apple mint until I can, I need to get more of my large jars washed and sanitized. So, yeah. So that's going to be it for today. We're going to wrap this video up. I'll see y'all back here very soon. I have a bunch of videos in the queue. Take good care. Bye.